Welcome to today's video.
Today we'll be giving you a general overview of the application process.
So as the November 1st deadline for early decision is fast approaching, we thought of going a little in depth about the application process and also talk more about timelines maybe in our next video.
So let's get into it. Education USA has outlined 5 steps that one can take in the whole application process, but we will be concerning ourselves with the first 3 steps.
Yeah, so the first 3 steps are, first of all, researching your options, then financing your studies, and then completing your application.
The last 2 steps are applying for visa, preparing for departure. But as I said earlier, let's focus on the first 3 steps for now, because those are things you are going to do after you get enrolled.
Yeah. So for the first part, we have made a video about researching your options. So we will include the link in the description below so that you can check it out.
Let's move to the next step, which is financing your studies. Education in the United States is a very, very expensive experience compared to other countries, and hence you must have figured out how you are going to pay an average of $65,000 before you think of applying, because what you don't want to ever happen to you is that you get into school and you have no means of paying.
Yeah, that really sucks, trust me. So in figuring out how you're going to pay huge sums, we'll make a video in details about your options, but for now we just want to let you know your options basically. So there are so many universities in the United States, and each of them vary in so many different ways.
Comes with funding. There are schools which have scholarship and financial aid, and these schools are the very competitive ones because who doesn't like financial aid?
Yeah, so as Michael said, the very top schools usually can give you about 75 to 100% financial aid, but the issue though is, why would a school like Harvard give you around $81,000 to go to their school if they don't see potential in you? So these scholarships are really, really competitive, but we believe you can do it.
So if you are looking for good financial aid, we are going to make a whole video about it, but you should face the factor that in your research at big picture.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the more you can pay, the more options you have, because there are schools that the more you can pay, you just have more options basically. And personally, when I was applying to schools, I knew I couldn't afford even 5%. So all the schools on my list were schools that could give me more than that, but then they were very, very competitive. So I had to make sure I put together a very, very compelling application in order to be able to get into any of these schools, and that's what we are going to help you to build.
So talk to parents and sponsors and whoever you believe can be helpful and can be of help, and figure out how much you can pay, and then research your options. There is also option of loans. Some college and university will be willing to give you loans so that you pay back after graduation.
So once you have figured out financing, the next thing is the application process itself.
As Andrew had mentioned already, we'll be making videos this coming week. We'll talk about most of the things though. Don't be too worried if you don't get something, and also comment below if you have any questions, and we'll be glad to answer them for you.
Yeah, so back to the application process. The application process to US colleges and universities, unlike those of other countries, is a holistic one. And by holistic, I mean they consider everything. Back in my country, to get into a university, all you need is a good score on your final. But this is different from anything you've ever experienced.
But here in the US, they consider you as a person, not only academically but holistically. That is, they look first at your academics, then your involvement in your school and community, your value, and generally who you are as a person, and what you can contribute to their campus community.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, Mike. Schools in the US want people from all over the world because they value diversity and people who have like a lot to bring to their campuses, be it like sports and athletics, volunteerism, like anything that they find interesting and anything interesting that you can bring to their campus, they want it.
So the application process is designed such as they get to know all these things about you, and it's your responsibility to represent yourself well and bring this out well in application so you can be given the consideration you deserve.
So the application form that we will be using or that we used and we'll be talking about is called the Common App. There are others such as the Coalition app, but for the purpose of this channel, we're going to be talking more about the Common App in this and in future videos.
So the common application is designed such that you can enter background information, give a recount of your activities, and also upload your essays.
And as we've already said, we'll be going more in depth on this topic in later videos, but I would recommend that you start searching for essay prompts of the Common App and choose one or two and start drafting responses to them. We'll make later videos about how to fill the Common App and about essays and all of that, so you don't need to worry much.
Another way school can get to know you is through teacher and counselor recommendations. So most schools will require a teacher or two in different fields, and also your school counselor to submit a recommendation on your behalf, and also through the common application.
Yeah, this is a great way to stand out. So start talking to teachers who know you or who knew you well when you were back in high school, and let them start drafting a recommendation letter for you. We will definitely talk more about what should go into such recommendations in our later videos, but make sure you talk to your counselors and your teachers.
In addition to all these, your high school counselor would need to submit your high school transcript in addition to his or her recommendation of you.
Yeah, so the last and one of the most important parts is testing. As said earlier, we will talk more about this, but US colleges and universities either accept the ACT or the SAT, so you would have to decide on one of these tests and take it prior to applying.
Also, for countries whose first of official language is not English, you may have to take the TOEFL test, which is an English proficiency test.
Yeah, but however, I think there is a policy of if you get, I think, a 600 or above on the SAT writing section, you can decide not to take the TOEFL, but some schools absolutely require it. So we'll give you more information on that in later videos.
By the way, even if you have a 600 SAT test, I still recommend you to take TOEFL because basically it won't take you much time to prepare for TOEFL if you really have a 600 SAT in writing section.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, so that's all we have for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe until we come your way with more videos. Peace.